In a world that's constantly shouting, the most powerful person is the one who speaks softly and means it. While others chase chaos and noise, the truly dangerous walk in silence with a calm mind and a steady hand. Not because they're weak, but because they're in control. Today we're unlocking a truth that few people understand. Calmness is not passivity, it's not surrender, it's precision, it's strength under pressure, it's knowing exactly when to act and when to wait. Most people think danger comes with noise, with aggression, with power on display, but real danger is silent. It prepares in private, it trains without applause, and when the moment comes, it doesn't flinch. That's what you'll learn in this video. Why calm people are the most underestimated, why their strength runs deeper than it seems, and how you can tap into that power every single day. By the end of this, you won't just understand the balance between peace and power, you'll know how to live it. Because staying calm while staying dangerous is not just a mindset, it's a lifestyle, and it changes everything. Keep watching because this is the edge the world won't see coming. Most people get it wrong. They think calmness is the absence of energy, a soft trait for soft people. They see someone quiet and assume they're weak. They see someone still and assume they're passive. But they're missing the whole point. Calm doesn't mean you don't feel pressure. It means you've trained your mind not to panic when it hits. It's the ability to stand still in the middle of a storm, to think clearly while others drown in their own reactions. Calm is control. Control over emotions, control over energy, control over the moment. Now take a closer look at the word dangerous. It often triggers fear, aggression, violence. But that's a shallow take. Being dangerous isn't about causing harm. It's about having the power to act and the wisdom to hold back. True danger lies in the one who could destroy but chooses not to. Not because they're scared, but because they've mastered their choices. A calm person who's dangerous is rare, because that person has developed both patience and power. They're not moved by noise. They don't need to prove anything. They walk with quiet confidence, knowing they can handle what others can't. And they don't need a crowd to validate it. Look at people who've built real inner strength. They don't explode under pressure. They don't let frustration speak for them. They observe, assess, act with purpose. Calmness gives them that edge. It slows the world down, and in that pause they find clarity while everyone else is reacting. Being dangerous doesn't mean looking tough. It means being equipped mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. It means being capable of doing hard things, having the discipline to stay focused, and the courage to move when others freeze. The real threat isn't the one who's loud and angry. It's the one who's calm enough to respond, not react. Who waits, watches, and then strikes with intention. It's a silent power, and that's why it's so effective. There's a kind of strength that comes from knowing exactly who you are, what you believe, and what you're working toward. That kind of strength doesn't need to raise its voice. It doesn't need attention. It doesn't need chaos. It builds quietly, step by step, day by day, until one day it's undeniable. That's what staying calm and staying dangerous really means. It's not about living in fear or holding back your potential. It's about sharpening your mind so that when life tests you, and it will, you don't break, you don't fold. You show up ready. The calm are not soft. They're strategic. They've trained for pressure. They've built patience like muscle. They've made peace with discipline. And because of that, they're dangerous in the best possible way. When you walk into a room and carry calm like armor, people feel it. You don't need to say much. You don't need to prove anything. Your presence speaks louder than words. That's not just a way of thinking, that's a way of living. And it changes how you show up in every moment. Quiet, ready, dangerous. Control isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about mastering it. Emotions are powerful. They drive action, spark passion, and push through resistance. But when emotions lead without discipline, they destroy more than they build. Self-control is the quiet force behind every strong decision. While others speak out of anger, a self-controlled mind waits. While others chase distraction, a self-disciplined soul stays locked in on purpose. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. In life, opportunities come and go fast. Sometimes all it takes is one poor reaction to miss a door that may never open again. That's why mastering the moment matters. React in anger, speak without thinking, act out of ego, and the damage is done. Some moments don't come twice. People often confuse speed with strength. They think moving fast means they're ahead. But strength lives in pause, in silence, in choosing the high road, even when pride screams for revenge. That's where growth begins. When impulse says lash out but wisdom says hold steady. Self-control is not a natural gift. It's a skill, built through repetition, sharpened through struggle. Every time a decision is made to walk away instead of fight back, to wait instead of rush, to reflect instead of explode, that's strength being shaped. It's not about never feeling tempted. Everyone gets tired. Everyone gets frustrated. Everyone faces moments when quitting feels easier than standing firm. What separates the strong from the average isn't that they feel differently. It's that they've trained themselves to respond differently. Even in silence, discipline speaks. It says, I know what matters. I know what I'm building. And I won't let temporary emotions wreck permanent progress. That kind of control doesn't make someone less emotional. It makes them powerful with emotion. Emotions become tools, not masters. They add depth, not chaos. They serve the mission instead of derail it. Most people live on impulse. Quick to speak, quick to act, quick to regret. They live in reaction mode, letting circumstances shape their outcomes. But self-control flips the script. It puts decision back into your hand, and it builds a future based on vision, not just feelings. Silence becomes a weapon. Stillness becomes a strategy. Calm turns into a calculated edge. There's a reason why those who move with patience go further. They don't burn bridges. They don't trade long-term success for short-term comfort. They know timing matters. They know clarity comes in stillness. And they know progress isn't just about what you do, but also what you choose not to do. Power without control is dangerous, but power with control, that's leadership. That's influence. That's mastery. When someone has true self-control, they don't need to shout about it. It shows in how they carry themselves, in how they treat others, in how they navigate pressure, and it earns respect in places where noise never could. That's not just about being disciplined. That's about becoming dependable, reliable, respected. And those qualities don't fade. They only grow stronger with time. That's the edge that outlasts the rest. Strength doesn't always look like heavy lifting or bold declarations. Real strength lives behind the scenes. It's found in the daily choices no one sees. The early mornings, the silent sacrifices, the times you showed up when quitting felt easier. That's where discipline lives. And where discipline lives, inner strength begins to grow. Motivation fades. Some days bring energy, others bring exhaustion. But discipline shows up either way. It doesn't wait for the right mood. It doesn't ask how you feel. It just moves. Steady, focused, unshaken. Building inner strength isn't about being tough every moment. It's about doing what needs to be done. Even when you're tired. Even when no one claps. Even when no one's watching. That's the test most people avoid. Because it's hard. Because it's lonely. But that's exactly why it works. Discipline is repetition. Repetition shapes habits. And habits shape identity. Do something long enough, and it becomes who you are. Not just what you do, but how you live. That shift from action to identity is what separates the strong from the scattered. Most people wait for a breakthrough. They look for one big moment to change their lives. But strength isn't built in one moment. It's built in thousands of small ones. Choosing focus over comfort, effort over ease, purpose over pleasure. Discipline isn't rigid. It's freeing. It doesn't lock you down. It lifts you up. It creates structure so creativity can grow. It builds consistency so confidence can rise. Without discipline, dreams stay dreams. With it, they take form. There's nothing flashy about sticking to a schedule. There's nothing exciting about doing the same foundational work again and again. But greatness is hidden inside that routine. Every expert, every master, every leader was once a beginner who refused to stop, who kept going when it got boring, who showed up when no one asked them to. Discipline teaches the value of commitment. It teaches patience. Even when results come slow, it keeps the fire burning when motivation fades, and it builds resilience that can't be faked. When the world throws pressure, disciplined minds don't fold. They've been there before. They've trained for discomfort. They've built their focus like a fortress. They've said no to distractions so many times, they don't even hear them anymore. Inner strength isn't loud. It doesn't shout for attention. It walks quietly, with purpose. It doesn't compete with others. It competes with yesterday's version of itself. It's not looking to win in the moment. It's building to win in life. Every early start, every clean decision, every uncomfortable step forward. That's how strength grows. That's how the mindset sharpens. And that's how peace and power begin to live in the same body. People often wonder how others stay calm under pressure, how they make tough things look easy. The answer is discipline, built day by day, tested in silence, proven when it matters. It's not just about getting things done. It's about becoming someone who can be trusted to show up. And that kind of person, disciplined, steady, focused, is unstoppable. Because when discipline becomes your lifestyle, strength becomes your nature. Pressure reveals what's real. It strips away excuses. It shows who's steady and who's not. And that's where resilience steps in. Not as something loud or flashy, but as a quiet force that refuses to break. Life throws hits. Plans fall apart. People disappoint. Failures come when least expected. That's not rare. That's what separates the strong is not how many times they get hit, but how many times they get back up, adjust, and keep going. That's resilience. Calmness in the storm isn't natural. It's earned, built through moments of struggle, when everything feels unstable, and yet a steady breath remains. Not because the situation is easy, but because the person facing it has seen hard times before, and chose to grow through them. Resilience doesn't eliminate pain. It doesn't stop failure, but it rewires the response. It says this isn't the end. It says there's a lesson here. And most importantly, it says, I've been here before, and I know how to move forward. Many think calmness comes from avoiding stress, but real calm is formed by walking through stress and coming out stronger. It's earned in the struggle, refined in setback. The more storms faced, the stronger the anchor becomes. Every failure teaches patience. Every delay builds endurance. Every setback adds another layer of depth. Slowly, emotions start to settle, perspective widens, and strength deepens. That's the quiet work resilience does beneath the surface. It's easy to be calm when life is smooth, but when nothing goes as planned, when losses stack, when time feels wasted, when the future looks uncertain, those are the moments that test everything. And those who've built resilience don't panic. They pause. Then they move. Resilience creates space between the trigger and the reaction. It gives room to think, to breathe, to respond with clarity instead of chaos. That space is what makes someone dangerous in the best way possible. Because when the world expects a breakdown, they stay focused. When the pressure rises, they don't flinch. This kind of mindset doesn't come overnight. It's not given. It's developed. Through tough seasons, long nights and silent battles. Through moments where quitting was an option, but growth was the decision. Most want peace without the process, but real peace is born through the process. Through walking through fire and coming out, not just alive, but better.
Stronger, clearer, sharper. Resilient people don't carry bitterness. They carry wisdom, not because they didn't get hurt, but because they refused to stay hurt. They turn pain into perspective, disappointment into direction. And that shift is what makes calmness their natural state. It's not about being cold or detached. It's about being so rooted that nothing on the surface can shake the foundation. That's where the edge lives, not in pretending things don't hurt, but in learning how to rise every single time they do. Calmness backed by resilience is rare. It's not loud. It doesn't announce itself, but it shows up when things fall apart. It leads when others run. It holds steady when the storm hits hardest. That's not just strength. That's mastery. And that kind of calm doesn't just survive pressure. It thrives in it. Some confuse calmness with weakness. They see silence and assume surrender. But calm is not the absence of power, it's the control of it. And when calm is paired with assertiveness, it becomes something unshakable. There's a way to speak without raising a voice, a way to lead without forcing control, a way to stand your ground without stepping on others. That balance is rare, but it's real. And when it's mastered, it commands more respect than any shout ever could. Assertiveness is not aggression. It doesn't seek to dominate. It doesn't need to win every argument. It simply means knowing where you stand, and standing there firmly, not out of ego, but out of principle. People who are truly calm don't need to prove their power, but when the moment calls for it, they don't hesitate to speak clearly, act decisively, and hold firm. They don't run from conflict. They manage it, with a steady tone and focused intent. This balance comes from knowing who you are. When there's no inner chaos, there's no need to project force. Confidence replaces intimidation. Clarity replaces confusion. And calm becomes the lens through which assertiveness flows. Some stay silent out of fear. Others stay silent out of strategy. The difference is seen in the outcome. Those who avoid conflict often feel trapped, but those who choose their moments, who wait, observe, then speak with purpose, carry influence. People listen differently when someone speaks calmly and directly. There's weight in words that aren't rushed. There's impact in speech that doesn't chase approval. Assertiveness, wrapped in calmness, hits harder because it's built on self-respect, not insecurity. Boundaries are a product of this balance. Calm minds create them. Assertive voices protect them. Without calmness, boundaries become walls. Without assertiveness, they crumble. But together, they form a solid line that protects peace and supports purpose. Leaders who walk in both calm and strength don't lose themselves in emotion. They don't lash out when challenged. They stand still, speak truth, and move forward. Even when the room gets loud, their voice remains clear. This balance isn't natural to most. It must be shaped over time. It grows with each conversation, where silence was held longer than anger, with each decision made out of principle instead of pressure, with each time strength was shown without shouting. Those who live this way inspire confidence. People trust them, not because they always agree, but because they stay consistent, calm and clear, soft where needed, strong where required. No need to force respect when your presence speaks for itself. No need to dominate when your words carry weight. That's what happens when calmness is matched with assertiveness. It doesn't just guide action, it shapes character. Power doesn't always come from pushing. Sometimes it comes from holding steady. And when that steadiness is matched with bold, honest communication, it changes outcomes. It changes relationships. It changes lives. That's not just emotional control. That's strategic influence. And in a world full of noise, those who live in that balance will always stand out calm, firm, and unshaken. Calm strength isn't a gift, it's a discipline, shaped by habits and anchored by intention. It doesn't show up by accident. It's built on choices, small ones, repeated daily, until they become who you are. Stillness in the mind begins with stillness in the body. A few minutes of silence each day can shift everything. Not scrolling, not reacting, just sitting, breathing, letting the noise set. That quiet space clears the fog. It separates real problems from passing emotions, and with enough consistency, it sharpens the ability to respond instead of react. Movement is another tool. Physical discipline brings mental clarity. A simple routine, walks, lifting, stretching, does more than build muscle. It teaches patience. It teaches control. When the body learns to push through resistance, the mind follows. The message becomes clear. Tension doesn't control the day you do. Journaling helps lock in lessons, not for perfection, but for pattern. Thoughts on paper reveal what's running in the background. That awareness is power. It shows where focus is leaking, where energy is misplaced, and where growth is needed. Even 5 minutes of writing can uncover truths that stay hidden in silence. Guarding inputs is another form of strength. What enters the mind shapes what the mind produces. Constant noise weakens focus. Negative voices drain resolve. Protecting peace isn't a luxury, it's a strategy. What's read, what's listened to, what's watched. Each one shapes the internal world, and that internal world determines whether calm or chaos runs the show. Discipline around sleep and nutrition might seem basic, but they fuel everything else. An exhausted mind is more likely to snap. A depleted body struggles to hold patience. Calmness begins when the system is supported, rested, nourished, prepared. Purpose sharpens discipline. When there's a clear reason behind the effort, it becomes easier to say no to the distractions. Goals without grounding lead to burnout, but goals built on deep values, they pull a person forward with clarity. That clarity is strength. Their boundaries aren't barriers, they're safeguards. They protect peace. Saying no without guilt, unplugging without apology, walking away from drama without hesitation. These are signs of internal order. Without them, chaos creeps in through the cracks. Accountability adds structure, whether through tracking habits, setting weekly intentions, or having a trusted voice to challenge you. Accountability creates momentum. It removes the need for constant motivation and replaces it with responsibility. Time alone isn't a withdrawal. It's a space to reconnect with goals, revisit values, and realign focus. Some of the strongest people don't fill their calendars. They guard their time. They know that solitude fuels strength. These aren't dramatic steps. They're subtle, quiet, but over time, they build a life that feels grounded, not rushed, focused, not scattered, calm, not constantly reactive. Strength isn't built in comfort. It grows through structure, silence, and self-respect. Each of these practices, when done consistently, form a foundation that pressure can't shake, while others chase louder methods. This path goes deeper. No need to announce the growth. It will speak through actions, through consistency, through presence. That's what calm strength looks like. Not just steady on the surface, but solid to the core, built by habit, fueled by purpose, and tested in silence. Calmness isn't silence for the sake of stillness. It's power, carefully managed. It's strength, refined through discipline. And its clarity, earned through struggle. In a loud world that worships reaction, the one who moves with intention, quiet, focused, grounded, becomes unstoppable. Every section of this journey points to one truth. The calm and not weak. They are forged in fire. They've seen chaos, and instead of becoming it, they learn to rise above it, not by avoiding pressure, but by learning how to hold it, carry it, and grow stronger because of it. This life isn't just about getting ahead. It's about becoming someone who can handle what success demands. That kind of character can't be faked. It doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from choosing structure when ease is available, from choosing focus when the world screams distraction, from choosing strength in the form of patience, not just force. People often chase titles, applause, validation, but calm strength doesn't chase. It attracts. It stands firm in values. It walks steady when others run in circles. It's not moved by opinions or trends. It moves based on vision. That kind of person, calm yet dangerous, shifts rooms without speaking, changes outcomes without forcing. This isn't about being passive. It's about knowing when to act, how to act, and why you're acting. Every calm word backed by purpose. Every still moment powered by preparation. The world respects that kind of presence, even if it doesn't understand it at first. Think back to the moments in life when everything felt unstable, when pressure hit hard, when emotions tried to take the lead. That's where calmness proves itself, not in easy times, but in the moments when everything inside wants to explode, to run, to retreat. But instead of breaking, those who are calm and dangerous pause, breathe, decide. They don't move from fear. They don't fold under emotion. They respond with depth, not just noise. That response is built through the practices we've explored: discipline, resilience, self-control, balance, and daily habits. Together, they shape a person who isn't just calm in the storm. They become the calm in the storm. That's the kind of strength that makes an impact, not for a season but for a lifetime. There's something else that sets calm strength apart. It lasts. Temporary wins can come from hustle, from force, from pushing hard for short bursts. But sustained growth, legacy, influence that outlives the moment, that comes from a deeper foundation. It's not enough to succeed once. The goal is to become someone who can succeed again and again, because the character is there, because the habits are there, because the foundation is unshakable. Every setback becomes fuel. Every delay becomes training. Every quiet season becomes preparation. When the storm comes, calm strength doesn't get caught off guard. It leans into the moment. It adapts. It grows. This isn't just a mindset. It's a way of living, of moving through life with quiet power, of showing up every day, not needing to prove anything, but ready for everything. That kind of life doesn't chase validation. It chases growth, and growth becomes the reward. Some will never understand it. They'll question the quiet, mistake stillness for hesitation. But that's fine, because those who walk with calm strength aren't here to be loud. They're here to be effective. They're building something solid, internally first, and then externally. They're leading, not with noise but with results, not with urgency, but with precision. And when the time comes to speak, to act, to lead, they do it with force that surprises those who thought stillness was weakness. That's why this matters, not just for big moments, but for every moment. In relationships, in business, in setbacks, in decisions, in leadership. Calm strength turns chaos into clarity. It turns emotion into energy. It turns life's weight into fuel for greatness. This is the edge most people overlook. They chase complexity. They want faster tactics. But it's the calm, disciplined, resilient, focused person who ends up leading, thriving. They don't talk about the work, they do it. They don't ask for credit. They earn it. They don't hope for strength. They build it, layer by layer, day by day. This entire journey points to one simple truth. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to rush to be effective. And you don't have to be perfect to be dangerous. You just have to be consistent, grounded, calm, and ready. Those who move with that kind of energy shape outcomes, not just for themselves, but for everyone around them. They lift standards, set tone, and create space for others to rise as well. That's the real power of calm strength. It multiplies, it ripples out, and it raises the level of every room it walks into. So, if this message resonated, don't just listen, live it, apply it, test it, grow in it, step by step, day by day. And if you found value in this, if it sparked something real inside you, then make sure to like this video. It helps us reach more people who need this message. And if you're on a journey to grow, to build, to lead with purpose, subscribe to this channel because this is just the beginning. We're building a space for people who want more than noise, who want clarity, strength, growth, legacy. And we're just getting started. Stay calm, stay focused, stay dangerous. We'll see you in the next one.